See the road heading up to the manor up ahead. No scorch so far.
I'm not spotting anything. There could be some around the back, so we should still approach carefully.
Agreed, but the ambient radiation is picking up. No clouds, but it could be signs of a pending red storm. We should get indoors.
You were right. Wind is picking up. Could just be blowing from the nuke plant or could be a full-blown red storm.
You hear that? I think it's coming from the far side of the house.
One of the silo officers. Haven't spotted one in weeks. We should probably take it out to be on the safe side.
No, the last thing we need is for our shots to bring more scorch. We should sneak inside before the storm comes down on us.
Okay, B-Lead has a point. We'll sneak up to the front door. If anything hears it open, we'll already be in the manor. Sid, quiet. Raise the door. That should do it just in case.
You were right. The manor is in pretty decent shape considering... well, considering everything.
The entrance to the lair is just to the left in the parlor, but many rooms are still well intact. Could be a good shelter for a fair number of people.
Maybe. An emergency shelter anyway. Would take a lot of work to make it a home, as they say.
What is it?
Seeing these portraits, I almost forgot how good looking they both were. Yet their beautiful bodies housed to fair intelligence.
Thinking of yourself again?
So this veil, obviously designed to deflect and reflect electromagnetic.
It opens a hidden door to the left of the fireplace. Something about your portrait about it houses some kind of emitter and receiver.
Satisfactory defense for a front door, if I recall my trips to Pleasant Valley and Sunny Tubs. The expertise and intelligence of most raiders was rather limited. You mentioned 2 other doors down the stairs. Let's take a look. Basic laser grid is a second line of defense. Wouldn't have mattered if I had been among any attackers, though. And a rather heavy blast door for the third line. I'm pretty sure anything that turned the manor to ash would probably leave this lair intact.
Welcome home, Initiate.
Okay, you can now officially say that Maxwell Marconi is impressive.
Now you can do what you were always hoping to do.
Indeed. I'd prefer a comfortable king-sized bed for that. But is there actually one down here?
Not that, you perv.
We figured you'd be first in line to join the Order of Mr. Rees. Dr. Dick Smith joining Laura Darling Smith.
Yes, 67 episodes. I have to admit it was quite enjoyable, even though we had to dumb down the dialogue for the simpletons.
I have to admit the voices for our, there, 2 children was a bit out of place, but Edward could, almost, sound like a 5-year-old.
I admit I just did it for you at first, but we had something special. After a while, some of the most difficult episodes to put together were also some of the most rewarding.
So the great Maxwell Marconi is a romantic after all.
We had a few very special episodes. Sadly, we couldn't play them back for the vault.
Oh, I missed out on some lost episodes.
A few of the more private rehearsals got a bit heated, and the Overseer would have skinned us alive if anybody had heard that.
At least your audience would have known that Jimmy and Ellie Smith weren't just grown in a lab somewhere.
We had to keep it as traditional as the radio shows. No one would have wanted Laura Darling with a mouth dirtier than a sailor with moves like a back alley Jezebel.
You skipped a bit there at times. I remember some pretty heady romantic dialogue between Laura and her husband. The radio shows would definitely have not allowed it. A 2-parter singing killer episode with the second honeymoon. That wasn't just really good acting.
I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on that one, but once you matured a bit there, Maxie almost was good enough for boyfriend material.
And all prison company has been on the first tier of my breeding program.
You mean we're, right?
And I don't see that changing. Barring death.
And Annabelle, I told you what that means.
Whatever. We should look at the rest of this place. But I guess with a storm above us, we don't need to be in any immediate hurry. I'm going to see what shape the Hall of Trials is in. Care to join me, Ace?
How could I resist such an offer? Fish out a couple of beers and you got a date.
What was that for?
Because sometimes, just sometimes, you're not an asshole. My darling, on-air husband.
The Hall of Trials is in pretty rough shape, but it has some potential. At the very least, we could throw some mess in there and use it as a bunk room in the event of overcrowding.
The girls were housed upstairs, but the rooms are in pretty rough shape. Down here is far more secure, and it could still be used as a training room, of sorts.
Maxie get registered yet? I haven't seen him hit the producer yet for his own dress.
Initiate Maxwell Marconi. Well, you know the rest. It appears Crypto's databases are pretty damaged. Others are permanently offline. I believe the best course of action is for at least one of us to reach the senior ranks. It should give us complete access to what's left of the lair. It appears the first task for an initiate is to be assigned a mentor, a member of higher rank to provide field training.
I'm pretty sure everybody is dead, so does that mean we can't advance?
It is likely that the ID card or some kind of identifier would give us access. We simply need to find that and we can probably promote ourselves.
So we need to find ourselves the corpse of a senior member. I wouldn't even know where to start, assuming it hasn't been ripped apart by cannibals, ghouls.
As always, I already have a solution. Natasha Hunt, last seen in Lewisburg. Seems she was sent out there to deal with a group of cutthroats.
You definitely know it was David's gang?
I have the confidence of 90%. It is unlikely the other gangs had the means to deal with the order. In multiple locations, no less.
It looks like the world does actually revolve around UB Elite.
Once upon a time that would be a compliment, but now, Shannon and David, bitter foes. And it looks like David played to win.
I'm guessing they even knew each other, similar height, society circles, and all that.
I know that for a fact, at least, casually. One of David's kids, I don't remember which one, was a Mistress fan. He had her sign a few things at the very least.
Figure the storm will be over by morning. Lewisburg isn't too far away, so that's a blessing.
Are you sure you won't come with us? I don't care to leave you alone when we're not entirely, and I mean entirely, confident of the dangers that might still be here.
I'll be fine. I have supplies enough for 2 weeks. A few distractions, and things to read in case I get bored. And I may have the radio transmitter functional by the time you reach Lewisburg.
This place has a fucking radio transmitter?
Indeed, it does, and a rather powerful one. When I get it functional, can definitely reach Lewisburg, Charleston, maybe even my camp on a good day. Figure at the very least I can make my own dress. This time you can't stop me. I am curious why it wasn't the full-length gown described in the radio show. But I guess the outfit had to be functional and fashionable.
Jesus Christ, are you still sore over being disqualified from the beauty contests?
People were just jealous. I probably would have won. Or at least come in second. Third if I didn't shave my legs.
You can wear all the dresses you want, but you better have brought your own cosmetics. I'm not sharing my rouge or lipstick with anybody.
Brought along plenty of makeup, lipstick, and of course, options for hair dye. It's been almost a week since I changed my color.
You apparently don't understand what essential supplies are. We carried a makeup bag for you.
Without beauty, I am merely a super genius. I wouldn't want to rub the public of that.
Where are you off to, Maxie?
Where else? I'm checking out the bathroom.
He'll be a while. Now, pass me over that whiskey.
I don't know how a place is so warm and yet still so cold. That's a good sweat you took, trying to gather enough courage to do something, eh?
No, going to take a few more swags, to have the courage, not to do something.